We operate under the laws. They are governing laws and principles. UPND is not a special entity in this country. UPND operates under the Societies Act. And the Societies Act stipulates on how you proceed when mandate ends. Okay? The only transitionary period provided under the law is 14 days. See, this is lawlessness. When you have to also understand something, Costa. We are the ruling party. You see the chaos happening in the opposition, where these issues are ensuing. They are in courts. We should have done better. It's a shame that our standard has been lowered even below the opposition political parties. It's illegalities where people want to occupy office outside the authority which is mandated to them by the specific legislation. In this case, you have to understand, a political party is a club. But when it lapses, after that 5 years, you are given 14 days in which you notify the registrar of such a thing. Yeah, I can confirm with you, within that 14 days, I'd already approached the registrar myself.
Or really statements that have come out challenging your party membership. We are told you left the party, and there are rules to when party members are supposed to be readmitted to the party. How do you prove to us this evening that you're a legitimate member of the UPND?
You see, Costa, people should be careful when they make such allegations. You know, I consider myself as one of those people who will call special forces in the UPND. All right? Special forces, by that I mean people who do certain tasks for the party. All right? And when they push us to an extent where we should disclose what we've been doing all these years, it's serious business they want us to do.
That sounds very dangerous.
Yeah,
we've got special forces?
Special political forces. I'm not a joker. I can tell you that for sure. And the church knows.
Which means you do illegal things on behalf of the party?
No. We do.
For you not to be able to say publicly.
Special operations.
Why not special duties? Because special forces?
Yes, special forces, paratroopers. Okay. We fly by night. Do you know what a paratrooper does? Let me tell you.
Clandestine maneuvers.
Clandestine specialists. That's what we are. And in the UPND, they are there. And I rank among the best in there. I can tell you. And the HH knows me. So we execute functions. And we shouldn't be pushed to start disclosing what we have been doing.
Can we assume that this court process is also one of those clandestine?
No. That shows ability. And
special forces.
It just shows our ability.
Somebody else has sent you because you're part of the special forces.
Listen, HH will be the first one to tell you that one cannot be bought. He knows it. He knows me very well. I've been on this platform for a very long time. And no one in the opposition, I can challenge anyone in this country to say, oh, Longwe is on my payroll. Me. HH knows me better. And he knows that this game is up. Because Charles doesn't move by money. I don't move by that. We move by purpose. And there's a task here. And this is a national task. And I've made clear to my friends, guys, I'm not shifting. I will not be part of those who push illegalities. So I stepped out.
So what is your ultimate goal and gain in all this? What?
First, as a ruling party, order. Order is what I want. Lawlessness should end. Listen, Costa, you remember the Bill 7 process which we went through? There was an accusation that, there was a court process which said the process leading up to that broke the spirit of the Constitution. What we are breaching now is the letter of the Constitution. If you understand the two, you will see the gravity of what we are doing. That was just merely a spirit, which is just like an intent you have to decipher. This is actual letter, and I will not be among the people who watch my fellow. I don't care. President Hakainde Hichilema, I've called him out. I said, sir, you are wrong, and I will not support this. I'm not budging. I will not be part of illegalities. Whether this is an election year, I will not participate. So they are masquerading as leaders, using government positions. No one is speaking as UPND what? UPND what? They are using their government positions to address you. It's a shame.
There is this very interesting article
Yeah.
in the UPND Constitution, Article 79, under tenure of office, and it says that a party president shall be eligible for election for an indefinite period subject to this constitution, provided that a party president who is elected Republican president shall only serve 2 terms that shall run concurrently with the term of office as Republican president. From my understanding is that obviously our Republican Constitution has guided clearly that somebody who's president can only serve for 2 terms.
Yes.
And this Article 79 is saying then the president of the UPND who is serving as Republican president can be elected for an indefinite term or period that aligns with the 10 years, according to this. In fact, in the same constitution, I am aware that the party president is then automatically the Republican president candidate.
Exactly.
So we can also draw from Article 79 that challenging whether the candidature or the legitimacy of President Hichilema, according to this, he's very much on firm ground because he is the Republican president that is serving a period that will be aligned to the Republican Constitution.
You see, I'll be reluctant. I was attending a certain discourse somewhere where they tried to push me to this. I'll be reluctant for one reason. In the UPND, we file for, there will be dates for nominations. I have, maybe it was unintended, but I did, I said at one program that there will be eligibility issues with the president. I know. And that's a fact. Now, that's your reading and interpretation of that clause. But, there's a benefit of what you call institutional memory. That article was not there in the original UPND constitution. That article was just introduced in 2009. And we have a history why it was introduced.
What's the history?
Yeah, we had the history why it was introduced and how it was supposed to function.
Why was it introduced? Because
you see, we held an extra.
Because for every law that you're amending, there must be a gap or a lacuna that you're trying to fix.
Yeah, one would say so, but we also looked at, there are certain things at the time. You see, these conventions, as you see them, which are held shortly before the general elections, have a danger. That is, if, let's say, we hold a convention, like, let's give an example of another political party. Let me just leave this one. They hold a convention under, let's say, FDD. And then 4 months from now, under the FDD, Wachifumu Banda, Adada, attempts to run for the election. And then he loses. Some people, after the election, they are not interested to go to the 2031. Because usually their impetus is to run for office. So in the UPND, that was a marvelous thing we tried to do there. That's why I've even asserted and challenged everyone to say, show me where we held a convention in 2011. It was because of that. We never held a convention in 2011 as UPND.
Yeah, because probably you had changed then the tenure from 3 years to 5 years in certain organ structures, and then you had put in this indefinite. So make me understand, because following, late UPND President Anderson Mazoka's death, President Hichilema has held reins of the party from that period. I mean, he contested the election in 2006. He's contested the election in 2008. He contested in 2011. In 2011. And being a member, you've been supporting. This is now Republican president. So there is legitimacy. There was a convention in 2016. There was a convention in 2021.
I tend to disagree. There was no convention in 2016. Look, here is how you know whether there was a convention or not, right? At the convention of 2006, Sakwiwa contested against HH. 2009 was just an extraordinary convention. We didn't. In 2011, there was nothing. 2016, there was nothing. In 2021, we held a convention, and I think Pamela Chisanga, McDonald Chipenzi, and some NGO groupings were part of the Electoral Commission, because you have to have an independent Electoral Commission. Now, I can dare them even now to say, I'm a man of truth. And I faced my colleagues with truth. And I expected them to be contrite and not push me this far. I dare them even now to say, name the commission in 2011. And Richard Kapita was vice president. Name the commission in 2016. And GBM was the vice president. There was no election. So when I say some of these things, it's just because I'm being pushed too far. I know what we were doing.
Is this, you were doing illegalities?
Well, we could say, you know, the common term was, do you know in a political party there is a rhythm, and we are able to get some.
So